Hey guys, welcome back. Today we will be discussing the last piece of the Illusion Dungeon puzzle, which is the Illusion of Twins. And today we're talking about the weapons. We've got 6, and all of them are 2 slot, I think, except the Illusion Ancient Dagger, which is 3 slots. Yeah, this really amplifies a lot of builds, even the free-to-play ones, F2P ones. The stuff that you get, or the bonuses that you get from these illusion weapons are or can still be relevant to the meta today. First, the illusion Gardia, I don't know. It's a one-hand spear, attack 170, weapon level 4, required level 120, and it's for the Royal Guard class. Now, the initial bonuses, you get 10% HP, crit plus 15, attack 20, and attack speed 2%, every 3 refines. Now, with the refine bonuses at plus 7, you get 25% cannon spear damage and 30% critical damage. That in itself, especially for an F2P player, just slapping just a safe to 7 weapon on it, it would actually make a world of difference in terms of damage. And I love this. I've been waiting for this spear for my Royal Guard. Plus 9, you get 25% vanishing point damage and 15% long range damage. And plus 11, you get an additional 25% vanishing point damage and 25% cannon spear damage, which makes sense. Cannon spear does crit, and you have that vanishing point for the single target thing. But vanishing point is actually a pretty good skill. The only issue with it is that, yeah, it's a single target, apart from cannon spear or maybe even overbrand. Now, when it's comboed with the illusion passion hairband from the illusion of teddy bear, when you're casting shield spell, you get additional 25% vanishing points and cannon spear damage. When both are refined at plus 7, you get 15% long range damage, which is always a welcome bonus. When the total refine is at plus 18, so let's say plus 9 for both, you get 15% damage to physical damage to all races. Yeah, you don't get these types of combo bonuses in the previous F2P stuff, so yeah, definitely really good. And if the total refine is at plus 22, let's say plus 11 for both, you increase your cannon speed and vanishing point damage by twice the total refine rate of the set as a percentage. So basically, if it's plus 22 in total, you get plus 44% damage for cannon spear and vanishing point damage. How good is that? Next, for the Royal Guard as well, is the Illusion Excalibur. It's a one-hand sword, level 120, attack 120, weapon level 4, and required 120. Obviously, it's still for the Royal Guard, and this is for Genesis Ray, so the magic side of the Royal Guard. Just beautiful. M attack 180, M attack 5%, ACD minus 5%. With the refines, you get plus 7. Plus 7, you get 15% Genesis Ray damage. Plus 9, you get 15% neutral and holy property magic damage, as well as minus 10% VCT reduction, which is, especially for a magic class. Well, technically, it's a physical character running a magic sort of running a magic build. That additional 15% holy property and neutral property magical damage is definitely going to come in handy, especially with Genesis Ray, because it doesn't really get a lot of support these days. Plus 11, you get additional 25% Genesis Ray damage. So yeah, this is there's plenty of OCP swords that you can actually use. Not really OCP swords, but better swords. But the combo on this is quite good. Speaking of combos, it combos with the Illusion Sacred Mission. It's from the Illusion of Frozen. You get M attack plus 50 and additional 10% VCT reduction on the initial stats. At plus 7 for both, you get 10% Genesis Ray damage. And when the total refine is at plus 18, let's say plus 9 for both, you get 20% magical damage to all races. Imagine 20%. The Gardia combo only got 15%. This one got 20%. But then again, it doesn't have a lot more bonuses. Still, 20%. And finally, at plus 22, you get minus 1 second Genesis Ray cooldown, as well as 5% ACD reduction. Now, this really works well, especially with Genesis Ray's cooldown. I think it's 2 seconds, 2.5. I'm not totally sure, but you know, given the whole skill right now in iRO, this shouldn't matter. But if anything were to be revamped, then obviously, you know, this would be one of the go-tos, just for the cooldown reduction, you see. Next, the Illusion Doomslayer. It's a 2-on axe, level 250. Attack 250, weapon level 4, required 120, and it's for the merchant class. So Biolos or mechanics can actually use it. It's indestructible. That's 5% VCT. You get attack plus 75 if your base strength is 100, which is, you know, most of the time it's already 100 over. I would usually run 120. For the refined bonuses, at plus 7 you get 10% VCT reduction. Plus 9 you get 15% melee and long range damage, as well as 20% physical damage to all sizes. Jesus. Okay, that is at plus 9. Slap a safe to 9 cert, or especially because the Enrich event is still on, you know, plus 9 isn't really hard to come by. I'd imagine you can actually run this with like card cannon, maybe axe boomerang, because of the 15% long range damage, but also the melee skills. Plus 11 you get 10% ACD reduction, which is definitely welcome, especially for the Biolo. Now when it comes to combos, this combos with the Illusion of Underwater, Illusion Chainmail from the Illusion of Underwater. Initial stats, you get attack plus 50, as well as 15% ACD reduction. There you have the ACD reduction, which is essential for the merchant class builds. When both are refined to plus 7, you get 15% attack speed, which is a little bit meh, but still pretty good, especially when you're lowering that ACD reduction. 193 attack speed is definitely going to be useful. When the total refine is at plus 18, you get additional 20% physical damage to all race. Again, the same as the whole Illusion of Excalibur with the Illusion Sacred Mission, that got 20% magical damage to all race monsters. This is a really good trend, and yeah, this will definitely help a lot of F2P players. When the total refine is at plus 22, let's say plus 11 for both, you get 15% attack and minus 10% VCT reduction. Moving on to the Illusion Ancient Dagger. Obviously it's a dagger, attack 107. Yeah, that was quite specific. Weapon level 4, required 120, and it's for the Shadow Chaser class. Initial bonuses, you get 180 M attack, 100 SP, as well as 10% SP recovery, and a 3% chance to gain 10% M attack and 70 M attack for 10 seconds when dealing physical attacks. So imagine running an auto cast Shadow Chaser. Using this, you're actually gonna get a lot, especially with the combo. Going into the refines at plus 7, you get 15% all property magical damage. Imagine 15% all property. At plus 9, you get 20% magical damage against medium and large size monsters. So yeah, basically a mutated White Knight card, so to speak, at plus 9, which is really good. And at plus 11, a 2% chance to gain magical damage against all race monsters by 15% for 10 seconds when dealing magical attacks. So basically, when you're trying to hit with your bolts, you're actually amplifying that damage with additional 15% magical damage to all races. Now for the combo, it's fairly easy. It's Illusion Guard from the Illusion of Twins. We're going to have another video around the armors probably next week. But initial stats, you get M attack plus 50. Now when both are refined to plus 10, you get plus 10 perfect hit, which is but then again, it does help, especially if you're trying to run low decks. Now, when the total refine is the plus 18, like plus 9 for both, you get 15% all property magic damage. There it is again, really good. And a 7% chance to autocast Killing Cloud level 3 when dealing melee physical damage. I mean, yes, it's a 7% chance, but still, it's an autocast for Killing Cloud. It's a skill, it's a magic skill, you know, it's still pretty good. Now, plus 22, let's say plus 11 for both, upon casting Killing Cloud, you also get a chance to cast Poison Burst level 4 when you're dealing magical attacks for 30 seconds. So basically amplifying that whole attack pattern. And yeah, it's just an orchestra of skills. You know, I love autocast skills. They may not be the most effective in later or like higher levels, but you know, it is definitely a fun build to play. Next, the Illusion Thorn Staff of Darkness. It's a one-hand staff, attack 120, weapon level 4, required 120, and it's for the Mage, Acolyte, and Soul Linker classes. It's indestructible. You get 180 M attack, int, and dex +3. You can also ignore magical defense of all races except players, but by 3% per refine. So basically, if you're at +10, that's 30% bypass magical defense for all races except players. Obviously, +15. That'll put it to 45%, which is still pretty good. You also get -3% ACD per 2 refines. In terms of refines, you get at +7, you get 7% M attack and -7% VCT reduction. At +9, you get 20% magical damage against holy property and angel race monsters. Now this is where the whole confusion starts, because it's holy property and angel race monsters. So basically it's torn between property damage as well as race damage, but only for a specific race, right? At +11, you get 15% magical damage against poison, shadow, undead, and ghost property. Yeah, I mean, still 15%. I would have preferred it to be all property magical damage, because it sounds like it's most of the stuff that we're technically going up against at higher levels, but yeah, still pretty good. Now this combos with the Illusion Morpheus Hood from the Illusion of Labyrinth. If you're not familiar with that set, that set actually provides a tremendous amount of VCT reduction as well as ACD reduction. So if you can get your hands on that, it's dropped by, you can craft it, but it's also dropped by the Chaos Baphomet, the MVP there. It's a walk in the park. It's so easy to kill. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to actually running this with the Illusion Morpheus set. Initial stats, you get 20 M attack. If both are refined +7, you get 10% all property magic damage. There we go. That's what we want. 10% though, but still, I'll take 10%. If the total refine is at +18, let's say +9 for both, you get additional 20% magical damage against shadow property and demon race monsters. Here we go again with the split property damage as well as race damage, and it's very specific, but you know, that definitely works because we're going up against a lot of shadow property and demon race monsters at higher levels anyway. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much shit about that. When the total refine is at +22, you get 15% magical damage to all sizes. There we have it, and the 0.5 second FCT reduction, which is a welcome bonus, especially for the magic class, because there's a lot of fucking FCT that they have to deal with, you know, just to try to get the synergy proper. And last, the Illusion Dia Staff. It's a one-hand staff, attack 50, weapon level 4. It's holy property, required 120, and it's for the Archbishop. Now this thing is indestructible. It's you get 190 M attack, int +6, vit +2, and you get a 1% chance to recover 150 SP for 5 seconds when dealing magical damage. Not that that's an issue, because they seem to not even run out of SP at all at higher levels. You also get 20% Judex damage per 3 refines. Judex is actually something very interesting, and I do have a build coming that's a bit janky with Judex, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun. Moving on to the refines, +7, you get holy property magic damage +15%. That's definitely really good. +9, you get 30% Judex damage as well as 15% ACD reduction. Just perfect. And +11, you get 20% magical damage to all sizes for 15 seconds when performing Magnus Exorcism. So basically, you just drop ME and then just go ham with, you know, it's 15 seconds. You know, it's not that long, but at the same time, it's not that short. Now this combos with the Illusion Saint's Robe from the Illusion of Underwater. I think the Obune drops it. I would have to check. I've got like 5 in the storage, but you got 50 M attack. Again, 10% ACD reduction. I'm not gonna complain. That's plenty. We're already getting a lot for this set. When both are refined +7, you get 10% M attack and additional 2 attack speed. And when the total refine is +18, you get 20% magical damage to all race monsters. Here we go. That is something that, like I said, a lot of F2P gear doesn't have, and to see it on an illusion combo is just beautiful. And finally, when the total refine is at +22, let's say +11 for both, you get 15% VCT reduction and 10% ACD reduction. Normally I would complain, you know, no more damage, blah blah blah, because you don't really get a lot of Judex damage, but you do get the race damage as well as a lot of VCT and ACD reduction, which is, for the Archbishop, is definitely a welcome bonus. But yeah, this is it will be quite interesting to run Judex, because technically Judex is a 3x3 skill, so it could definitely work. So anyway, guys, that is it for the new Illusion of Twins weapons. Next week we will be tackling the Illusion of Twins armors. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.